comrades about...
Is it working? You don't hear it in the back, right?
Turn it on.
How about if I just talk without the microphone?
That's good for us.
I want to mention two comrades,
Green light.
one of whom has already been mentioned, and that is Eddie and Jeanette and Eddie Merrill, who were the first Workers' World comrades to welcome Leslie into our movement. Leslie mentioned that the two of them in her first pamphlet in the dedication section. Now I'm going to read a message from Rosemary Neidenberg, who cannot be here today due to minor health complications. He's fine. He starts out with a word about Comrade Minnie Bruce, a poet of many voices, whose love and support of Leslie through good times and the tough times was a partner in every sense of the word. His message continues. I first met Comrade Leslie Feinberg at a demonstration at the AUP against the agro barons and the inhuman conditions of the slave wages of the farm workers and their children. Cesar Chavez was organizing the United Farm Workers Union. I was there as a representative of Local 840 of the Teamsters, representing the new school workers. I always remembered how eloquently Leslie spoke in defense of the farm workers on that first meeting on that picket line. She grew up in Buffalo and had an intense childhood memory of a strike at her father's workplace, Bell Aircraft. And such coincidence of 6 degrees of separation, our comrades at the time were in the leadership of Local 501 United Auto Workers, and they gave the company hell for months and months. And they won the highest highest wages in the airframe industry. And that was the very first strike after World War II ended. And as Martha mentioned in that wonderful article she wrote, that she and Leslie worked when they were young in these ship jobs and factories. Anybody understand? She was always acutely conscious of the working class. She viewed the LGBTQ movement as an ally of the workers. Be sure to watch Pride. As an author and speaker, she was the pioneer voice who gave courage in this country and internationally, particularly to the most misinterpreted letter in LGBT transgender. She was devoted to the study and analysis of the laws of capitalist production, exchange, and the labor theory of value. She studied Marx, Engels, and the application of revolutionary theory from Lenin and his writings on the national question. She hated racism and fought it in print and in the streets. She exposed capitalism and raised the perspective of socialism in a positive, optimistic way. Always an outspoken communist, Leslie always presented as a member and organizer for Workers' World Party. Feinberg, to the very end, was intensely conscious of her role in her own life and in history. Viva Leslie Feinberg! A few months ago, I sent a message to Leslie, and I'm really glad I did. And this is what I wrote. Hello. Leslie, my dear comrade and friend, of all the difficulties and dangers of LGBTQ life, and I'm not forgetting the joys and victories, trans is the most difficult for people to understand, the most dangerous, demands the most courage. Because this is a voice, a champion, an eloquent interpreter for the transgender is so very valuable You are a heroic figure. That's why I admire you. Admire is too weak a word, but revere is too religious. Stonebridge Blues, transgender warrior, brought me to a world I wanted to know. I remember your defense of the country nearest to socialism, Cuba, and the greatest living world leader, Fidel Castro, and the immediate understanding of the Cuba policy in relation to the AIDS epidemic, when some well-meaning people didn't understand how magnificently you have been vindicated in defense of Cuba in that situation. But these things are not why I love you alone. I love you because you are enjoyable, humorous, loving, generous, and it is such a pleasure to know you, to be with you. When you lived in New York, I saved the times I could see and hear you. Your wonderful face, your huge eyes, your resounding laugh. Bill and I valued the occasions when we sat around various restaurant tables, sharing laughter and ideas. I always marveled at your optimism and strength as you faced myriad health challenges that would have destroyed a lesser person. And living and working as there were no challenges, I embrace you. I trust your hand. I'm grateful for another thing that I didn't mention in my message to Leslie, and that is bringing into our life Minnie Bruce Pratt, who writes lyrically